Thanks for joining us tonight at 5, where we start tonight by looking into the death of a cleaning crew worker in Boone County.
So we're told it could be days until we hear if the prosecutor will file charges after the woman was shot outside someone's front door. We know many of you have questions while you wait for this decision.
Jenna Webster joins us now live in studio, and she's been looking into what prosecutors have to consider in this case. And this is one that people have pretty strong feelings about.
Yeah, absolutely. We do know the prosecutor is spending this week reviewing all the evidence in this case from last week. His office says the case involves some pretty complex facts and unique circumstances, and he has to weigh that against Indiana's stand your ground law.
As family and a community mourn the death of Maria Florinda Rios Perez, calls for justice continue with questions why the prosecutor hasn't filed charges against the person accused of shooting her. Whitestown police say Perez was killed outside this home after her cleaning crew went to the wrong address. Someone inside the home shot her through the front door.
These are very complex, very, culturally controversial cases. And there's always losers no matter whatever the outcome.
Jody Madeira is a law professor at IU. She says prosecutors have to consider Indiana's self-defense law, specifically its stand your ground statute.
You must be in a place where you have a right to be. You must not have instigated or provoked the situation. You must have a reasonable fear of bodily harm or worse. And you must use force that's reasonable or proportionate to the situation.
In Indiana, if someone claims self-defense, the prosecution has the burden of proof. In this case, it means proving the person in the home was not in fear and not at risk of serious bodily harm.
And the most important evaluation of that total evaluation of self-defense or stand your ground is that reasonableness standard.
Katie Jackson Lindsay is 13 News legal expert and a criminal defense attorney.
It gets a little bit gray where a person is in a situation like this and they're forced to make a decision, a snap-second decision in the moment as to whether or not that level of force is necessary.
She says Boone County prosecutors are likely looking at every fact because every detail can make a difference.
It might be reasonable if that person was jiggling the handle versus if they were simply ringing the doorbell. So it could turn on just one simple fact.
Madeira says claiming self-defense in a shooting can also make a civil lawsuit harder for the family of the person who was shot, especially if they died. That's because the family likely can't speak directly to the facts of the incident.
We expect to learn the Boone County prosecutor's charging decision either late this week or early next week. The prosecutor sent us a statement saying in part, quote, "Justice requires patience, and we ask for the community's understanding as we work diligently to reach the right decision under Indiana law."
Jenna, thank you. Tonight, the Marion County coroner is working to identify a person who was shot and killed on the Near East Side of Indianapolis today. It happened near South Sherman Drive and English Avenue around the noon hour. We brought you this as breaking news. As Metro police officers tell us, they found the victim there in critical condition, but that victim later died. Investigators have yet to release any other details about what may have led up to this incident.
Well, today is the first day people could get some of their SNAP benefits back. Governor Mike Braun made the announcement yesterday.
But not everyone on SNAP is going to see the dollar amount that they normally receive. Ella Rhodes breaks it down.
This is how Don Dobbs spends every Tuesday, unloading the truck, preparing for the line out the door at Humble Love's food pantry for the next day.
There are people that are working every day of the week and they still can't afford to buy groceries. So, that extra assistance that they're receiving, that's all they have. So it's like when that's taken away abruptly, they're not expecting it.
Dobbs says the number of people they help keeps growing.
But we can't fulfill what SNAP was doing, right?
Even with SNAP benefits partially returning Tuesday, he says people are fearful with the uncertainty for what's next.
You are accustomed to one amount and then you got a partial amount. How are you going to feed your kids? So they're scared. People are scared and they're piling in here at rapid speed.
Food and Nutrition Services says the max amount of what families can receive is 65% of their regular benefits. The Indiana Family and Social Services Administration says every family will get a different percentage of their benefits. Indie Hunger Network tracks food insecurity in central Indiana. Mark Lynch with IHN says a small bit does help.
Partial funding is obviously a huge lifeline. The fact that any money is going out this month is really a relief based on what we were looking at a few days ago and even last week.
But he says it's still not enough.
The only place I've ever seen it this confusing was in some of the third world settings I worked when I was a student pastor, where the government would tell us one thing and then we would get limited resources.
The state says due to the partial funding, around 4,000 families on SNAP will not get any SNAP benefits until all the funding is restored. In Indianapolis, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
With the government shutdown potentially ending in the next few days, the funding for SNAP could soon return, but it will still take time to ensure that people receive their benefits. And we can help you out if you're looking for a food pantry here in Central Indiana. All you have to do is scan this QR code. If you do so, it'll take you to our website, WTHR.com/SeenOn13, and there you'll find a story with all the resources, whether you need food or if you'd like to volunteer and help a food bank in need right now. Ladies?
Thanks so much, Ann. And we are preparing for warmer Wednesday weather. It's coming. It's coming. So I feel like we have just dipped our toe into winter.
Okay.
We got a little break, so now you can find your gloves and your hats. You know where they are, so you'll be prepared next time.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I'm sure a lot of people thought, there's no way we're getting snow.
I did not think it was going to stick.
Yes, there's no way it's going to be that cold. But so yes, you said it. Now's the time to be thinking, do I know where all of that winter gear is?
Yes.
Because even though we've got a warmer Wednesday on the way, you know, winter is still on the way as well eventually. Right now across central Indiana, we have temperatures in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. We have made it to 40 in Greensburg. We've gone up a degree in Indianapolis right now at 39. That's the new high for the day. 37 degrees at Morris Reservoir and 39 in Noblesville. Still lots of clouds, but these temperatures are up about 10 from this time yesterday. We're 9 warmer in Indianapolis and Columbus, up 7 in Kokomo and Bedford, and 8 degrees warmer in Bloomington. It is technically warmer, but it has been windy all day. And with some of those stronger winds, wind chills, we still have some 20s on the map. So heavy coat weather if you're going to be out and about this evening. You'll need the heavy coat tomorrow, but then we're going to be able to lose some layers as we go during the day Wednesday. 50 midday and high temperatures tomorrow afternoon in the mid 50s. You'll also need the sunglasses tomorrow. Sunshine is back. Mentioned that 70-degree day in the 7-day. It comes on Saturday. What will follow is a rain chance on Sunday. I'll have that look ahead in a few minutes.
Thank you, Angela. Tonight, an IU lecturer says she was pulled from the classroom after a student complained about a lesson discussing white supremacy.
The student, using an Indiana law, took that complaint all the way to Indiana Senator Jim Banks. Ashton Hackman is in studio tonight. And Ashton, what led to all of this?
Well, Jessica Adams, the lecturer in question, teaches in the IU School of Social Work. She says she was giving a lecture on structural racism and used a scholarly article including a graphic as part of that lesson. This is the graphic in question. It's known as the Pyramid of White Supremacy. It categorizes several terms or phrases as socially acceptable or unacceptable forms of racism. Adams said the student accused her of equating Make America Great Again with police killings of people of color as similar forms of white supremacy. But Adams and one of her students denies that claim.
None of these things were mentioned at all. And this is something that I say from my perspective, we don't feel that that's what is being said in these slides.
An IU spokesperson tells me the university does not comment on personnel matters. In the meantime, Adams still teaches 3 other classes at IU. She wasn't available for an on-camera interview today. Now ahead at 6, you will hear from an IU law professor who explains how that Indiana law can present challenges to teachers.
Ashton, thank you. Tonight, you have a chance to take part in a community conversation here in Indianapolis about the future of education in the capital city. The IPS Board of Commissioners is hosting this conversation. It's focusing on the Indianapolis Local Education Alliance's work in city schools. It's taking place in just an hour from now. It kicks off at 6 o'clock at IPS School 88. That's located on East 16th Street near North Arlington Avenue.
Tonight, we're learning Daniel's Vineyard has filed a federal lawsuit challenging McCourtsville Town Council ordinances and enforcement. A representative for the Vineyard sent us a statement, and it says they believe those actions, quote, unfairly limit its operations as a small family-owned business. The statement also pointed out a, quote, persistent focus on noise from the town council. So that's something that we previously told you about in 2018 after police said they got at least 9 noise complaints, leading to a discussion about a noise ordinance. So we did reach out to the town of McCourtsville today. They sent us this statement. It says, quote, "The town of McCourtsville has not been formally notified of Daniel's Vineyard's legal action and will review once we receive it."